All right guys, welcome back to another video. This week's video, it's raining out right now and I won't have a lot of time to fish today because there's rain coming in a couple hours. So hopefully I can catch a walleye or two and do a catch and cook. Pan fried walleye is one of my favorite ways to make walleyes. But first we have to catch a walleye in order to do the catch and cook. Now let's talk about what I'm going to be using today real quickly. It's fall time right now, guys. And a lot of your fish in September, they're right in that transition period. And if you can see right now outside, it's overcast, it's chilly. I have my blackfish gear on. There's a big cold front coming through right now. So the biggest cold front of the year. So what happens a lot of times, walleyes this time of the year, sometimes they're very deep and sometimes they start to move up shallow. But I'm gonna start deep. And what I fish with, it's very tricky. And when I'm out here guiding, it can be even frustrating sometimes for some of my customers because fishing an 1/8 ounce jig really deep can be hard. And when you're using the live scope, just because you have that technology, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to guaranteed to catch fish. Because I've had, rarely, but I have had a few customers that come out, see the fish, cast to them, and just can't catch them. So it can be very difficult what I'm trying to show you when you're fishing an 1/8 ounce jig on 8-pound or 6-pound test with 8 or 10 pound braid using my Trika walleye rod, all carbon, super light, right here in Wisconsin. Check out Trika rods, the link's in the description below, and that's going to be paired up on a Carbon X2, the 2000 series I use a lot for walleyes, the 3000 series I use a lot for salmon. Super smooth drag, 10 ball bearings. They work great and cold in the winter for ice fishing. Most importantly for all you guys, they're priced really well. So use my code EH15 in the link below. Save yourself 15%. Check out one of these reels. You're really gonna like them. Now that we got this cold front that's coming through right now, I've obviously got my rain gear on and my rain pants on. I just want to quickly mention Blackfish Gear. They're a sponsor of mine. Been with them for many years. They have some of the best rain gear on the market right now. So check it out. I got the event pants on. For me, oh, I'm gonna trip myself. I like the pants because sometimes the suspenders pull on my shoulders and it kind of hurts, makes my back a little bit sore. But they have great rain gear. They have great zip up hoodies. Like this is I brought my work jackets just to show you guys. Like this is what I wear for work all fall long. It's all stained up, all full of eggs, but a super warm. They have the warm jacket, the really warm bibs. Look at these, all stained up, not brand new, not pretty. But if you want something warm and that keeps you dry and out on the water and in the elements, check out the link below. They got the rain gear, all different types of rain gear, sweatshirts, sun gear, gloves, everything. Check out Blackfish Gear, link below. Save yourself 15% too if you use a hot 15. So, all right, I'm gonna start with the jig. The other last but not least deal is I have the two basic rigs rigged up out here right now. The jig, and then I like a real aggressive approach, a 1 ounce or 3/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce Nishimi jig head with a 4-inch paddle tail. 16 pound straight fluorocarbon, 14 or 16 pound. That's on the Piscifun Alloy M. Love this reel. And I'm just throwing that out, letting it sink. And when the fish come up, I just pull it away faster and faster and faster. And this will get you big fish bites. So sometimes if I see a big pike or a big single mark, I'll throw the plastic at them first. If they won't eat the plastic, I'll follow up with the finesse rig. So we're gonna get fishing and we're gonna try to do this week's catch and cook. First, I gotta catch me a walleye. All right, let's start off by showing you how I rig up my crawler. Kind of rig it up like a plastic worm. Take that tip right there, and I just go right into the tip of the crawler, about maybe 1 inch. Slide that up, push it up onto the keeper. Sometimes I'll double hook it if you want to cast it a little further. And I'll go down about 1 inch behind the hook, pinch it off, and that's what I'm using, 1/2 crawler for bait. This all summer and into the fall when the water temps get into the 50s, it still works. Night crawler spinners, I've caught them even in the mid 40s. So don't give up on the crawlers, but you know, once turnover starts to happen here in about 3-4 weeks, that's when a lot of times rigging and minnows and different baits start to work. But here we go. All right, guys, just want to take a second and go over the technique again that I use, because I feel when I do a lot of guide trips out here and other lakes in southern Wisconsin, the biggest thing my customers struggle with is just working the light jig properly. And if you have ever ice fished for panfish or crappies, you know, or even ice fishing for walleyes, and I apologize for the wind, the rain's coming, we got wind coming today, I don't have much time. But what I'm talking about is you just kind of like hover and slowly lift, but just hover. I'm not snapping, so I want to show you when I take and cast this jig out. So I'm going to put the rod tip, I'm going to stand as far back as possible just to show you my rod tip action, but I'm just kind of shaking and reeling, just like this. Almost a steady reel once in a while. You know, just little shakes. So when you look at that crawler in the water, it's just kind of like shaking and slowly swimming up. And the mistake I'm seeing, because, you know, I see the fish, I see how they behave. And a lot of times, you know, initially I would do like a little snap, a little pop and reel, and it just seemed like either a steady, slow reel pulling it away, or just a little shaking. And that seems to be the deal. A lot of times I'll turn back around when I'm guiding and I'll see my customers, you know, going back to the initial walleye technique, you know, and that is just a little pop and a little pop, and sure, that's going to work, right? But I'm talking about if you got live scope and you're sight fishing fish, you're just trying to swim it away and hover. It's very similar how you fish smallmouth, but smallmouth, you got to pull it away a lot faster. When a smallmouth comes, they're coming quick and you got to pull it away quicker. When a walleye comes, they're a lot like a pike. They swim up to it and you just slowly keep reeling, keep shaking. I put my index finger on the rod so I can feel everything, and I just do this. Just shaking the rod tip. So that's really important. A lot of times when you go fishing with a jig and spoon, or just different baits, it's the technique, it's how you're stroking the bait. One guy in the boat's catching more than the other. If you're not catching them, put exactly the same thing they have on, the same leader, same line, same jig head, and if you can't catch them, well, then you know it's the angler. So not everyone's going to be able to catch them as good as other people, but hopefully that little tip helps you catch some fish. Here we go, we're going to try to catch some walleye. Got him. This might be dinner, guys. I just need one fish. I need one fish. I'll take a couple, but it's just me and my daughter at home. My wife is working out of town. They got to be 18 inches. So let's see if I can catch 1 or 2 walleyes for dinner for today's catch and cook. Did not take long. But it's not easy, guys. It is not easy just because you have this. It makes it a lot easier. Guys talk about banning it. Most importantly, what Wisconsin has to continue to do is stock walleyes. And if we don't stock the walleyes, they're gonna slowly disappear because of the technology. So let's see, do we have ourselves our first legal of the day? It's gonna be close. I'm gonna say, yeah, he's probably gonna be right around 18 inches. But we will bump him on the crawler and the jig. That might be enough for dinner for me and my daughter. Let's take a look. Yes, sir. Just over 18 inches. That one is 18 1/4 inches. That's a perfect little eater. First fish of the day. Got him. We just want one walleye for dinner. Do we have dinner or do we have a pike? Cold front got these pike all fired up. walleye. But we got dinner if we can get them in the boat. We got to catch and cook. Come on, let's do a catch and cook. Let's go. Nice legal. Come on, hey pin. There we go. There's our catch and cook. Hook jig popped right out. We got the rain coming in. We got a little bit of wind coming in, but that right there is just a perfect walleye for catch and cook. So I got a couple of them to eat, and that'll be it. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna go pick my daughter up from school. I just came out here for a couple hours. It was a tough bite, but I'm gonna show you one of my favorite recipes, how to pan fry walleyes. You don't always have to deep fry them. You can bake them, you can grill them, you can blacken them, but I'll show you how I pan fry them. This guy's coming up. All right, guys, so I made it back home. I'm about to pan fry that walleye. It's getting dark out, but I wanna show you, I've also got some smoked fish that we got going on the smoker here right now. Take a look at that. Check out some of my previous YouTube videos if you want to see how I smoke salmon and cohos on the Weber grill. Those are about done, but in the meantime I'm going to take a walk over here and I'm going to show you everything that I need for this pan frying walleyes. So obviously you need a fish. And this is how the fish should look when you bleed it out. Don't forget, every time you catch a fish, you're gonna wanna bleed that fish out. After it's done bleeding out in the water or in the net, you take the fillet, the fish, and you put it on ice. Now when I skin it, you can see I left one part here where you can see the middle part. This is the one section. If you don't take this out, this dark meat, I kind of pull this out, I split it apart right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish cutting out the rest of this dark meat right here, so the fillet looks like that. I just take a fillet knife and I trim a little bit of that off so all the meat is nice and white. That's kind of the fishiest part of the fish. Got a couple cheeks, and here's what we're going to use. We're going to use some, you can use canola oil, we're going to use some avocado oil, and I'm going to do them two different ways. These are my two favorite ways to pan fry them. One is just with some seasoning. I'm going to do a little bit of garlic salt and some house blend fish seasoning. And the other is going to be with a little bit of a breading. So I'm going to do one with breading and one with seasoning. We're going to do it in the oil, avocado oil. And last but not least, you want to get yourself some Sartori Parmesan cheese. You might think this is a little weird or crazy, and you might not like it, but everyone I've made this for loves it. And at the end, when we're done cooking this fish, we are going to put some of this Sartori Parmesan cheese on top of the fish, cut open a lemon, and that's going to be heaven. Here we go. All right, guys, take a look at that walleye. Got a little flip here. Move this one over. Oh boy, that looks beautiful. Great. About 2 more minutes once you flip it, and I'm gonna add a little bit of cheese. All right, guys, just pull the fish out and put a little bit of lemon juice on it. A little bit of the melted cheese. Look at that, doesn't that look delicious? A little bit of melted cheese, lemon juice. Let's try it. Mmm. I love walleyes. They're delicious, very healthy for you as well. We like to eat venison, we like to smoke fish, we like to eat walleyes, have our own garden, and hopefully you guys do as well. Thanks for watching this week's video. I also want to give a special shout out. I haven't done this, and I don't know why, but for all you guys that are firefighters, police officers, EMTs, my daughter's an EMT, I am so grateful and appreciative for all you that are out there, you coaches and teachers. Thank you very much, and don't forget to subscribe and watch our video. Hopefully you'll learn something. And if you like to cook fish, make sure you try this recipe. See you guys.